Hi, hello, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting. I hope everyone is doing well. Um, sorry. Hi, hello, everyone. Welcome to the meeting. Um, I hope everyone is okay, doing well, and we'll begin in like a couple of seconds. Okay. Before that, please let me know if I'm audible. Could anyone please let me know if I'm audible? Like a hand waving. Yes, thank you, Gokul. Thank you, Jagdish. All right, so let's begin this session today. So, HPA Weekly, what we do in here is we go through the trend and momentum of the markets, both short and medium, um, as well as do a couple of anticipations what the markets might be doing in the near future. We also go through a couple of interesting charts, some indices, and at the end of the day, some miscellaneous about technical analysis and how we can improve our trading. So, last week, what we did was uh, last week what we discussed in what the trends were of the markets was that we were still uptrending, but we saw bearish divergence in a smaller time frame. Okay, and we also saw a violent rejection from the previous highs. This was last Friday, and a lower low in intraday time frames. Okay, and I will point these things out also on the chart. And lower low on an intraday time frame could basically at the time meant that a more like we were in a downtrend. We were starting in a downtrend. That's basic Dow theory. Okay, so what happened? What transpired this week was that we are down in the shorter term. Positionally on weekly charts, we still are trending up. So positional players still don't have much to be worried about. And the price actions are the prices are most of the indices are at around channel supports or at previous pivot lows, and so we'll do a couple of anticipation based on that. In the meantime, if anyone is not in mute, can you please mute yourself? Okay, right. So moving on. So momentum. Last week, what we discussed was the momentum had been stalled, which means the upward momentum was stalled and starting to decrease. This week, it is still decreasing. We are almost going negative in momentum. On a weekly scale, the moving averages has crossed back. Okay, and on a weekly scale, as again, there is a bearish divergence. Similarly, what we saw in uh, uh, like a bearish divergence in a trend in a smaller time frame, in a weekly momentum plot, we are seeing a big considerable bigger bearish divergence. Again, I will show all of these in charts, and I will also then anticipate the couple of implications of what we are seeing in the coming term. So, anticipation, right? So, last week we anticipated right here, 8 o'clock, that a basing or a short term pullback could be on the cards, and please don't get surprised by that. So, this week, the anticipation is basically that because of the fact that we are at around the previous so the support levels of ascending channels, a bounce could be anticipated. But again, like you always hear me saying this at least twice a day, we wait for confirmations. Okay, we don't like jump on the gun saying that aa gaya, so we will yeah, so technical analysis will tell you to only react to the price action, and so for now we still don't have the bounce, but one can anticipate it. Okay, so the question is, what are the confirmations? And this is a huge part of what I'm going to discuss today. Okay. Um, all right. So with this, let me show you the charts and stuff what I have been talking about. So. Um, All right. So the Nifty 500 is at around the channel bottom. So the channel bottom would be around this level, um, around 2000, 20,100-ish. And also there is a lower pivot here from where there was a huge bounce the last time around. So one can expect that the bounce zone is very near, right? And the other charts also look very similar to this. Again, sometimes what happens is there is a huge debate also going on Twitter key, which trend line should you use, which one is the correct one, blah blah blah. See, there are no right or wrongs. Okay, the only thing you need to make sure while drawing trend line is that it is touch. So trend line should always touch pivot lows. Okay, and nothing else. So in here, pivot low is this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this one, and yesterday. Okay, so whichever trend line passes and crosses and touches through the most number of pivot lows would be the best trend line. Okay. Now the second thing one needs to consider is that it's a line. So this is also a line. This is also a line, but basically a very zoomed in line. So if you see this line, which is basically a channel, smaller channel, which is a zone which I drawn just now from a far distance, it will look to you like a line only. Okay, so lines are they don't have to be like a very thin line. They can be like a zone, smudged zone as well. Okay, so again, no point of arguing like which line is correct or not, but we know that Nifty 50 is also at around a zone from where one could expect a bounce in a short term. And then if you go through all the other indices, you will find most of the charts look similar, right? So you can also draw support here. Next Nifty Next 50 is one of the most bullish and the most highest relative strength stock. So this is some way up from the support, but again, Nifty 200 again around the supports, BSE around sorry, not BSE, Sensex around the supports, Bank Nifty around the support. But you can see that Bank Nifty had a huge selling, like huge selling from the volumes here. Again, I'm not sure if the volumes are accurate here or not. Some people say these are not very accurate, and we have to use the um, futures chart and all. But I think this is pretty much very very similar. So again, the point I'm trying to make is that most of them, even PSU Bank, you can now see that previously we thought of this is this one. So now what happens is pattern morphing, right? As price goes on, you can then sort of describe the price action into one form or the other. So I would not be surprised now if PSU Bank now takes the shape, the price action takes the shape of this channel, right? And then in that case, this would be a support to look forward to. Um, Similarly, financial services also at around a very strong support, right? So, uh, yeah. So, long story short, that's what it looks like from the price action point of view on most indices. Okay. Now going back to the presentation, we will talk about the confirmations and etc. Let's quickly talk about sectors and groups like we usually do in the session. So I still believe that PSUs, autos, power and energy, and even oil and gas, they are still poised to do well if markets from reverse from here. So I'll quickly show you the charts, and before that also micro caps, small caps, and mid caps are also looking not bad. See, this is a very valid base. This breakout did not materialize, but you can see that this looks like an inverse head and shoulder, albeit not a simple one. This is a complex inverse head and shoulder. So you can see a symmetry there. So this is a small shoulder, and there's a larger shoulder here. This is a small shoulder, and the largest shoulder is probably now getting completed and will go back up. So these are called complex inverse head and shoulders, not simple. Simple wale mein there will just be like two simple shoulders here, right? So a small cap, this was a clean uh, failure of the breakout, but again, there is some sort of support here, and we had a long tail. So these long tail price actions are characteristics of trend reversals, and especially when it comes in a space where you already have previous buying pressure, then one would not be crazy to anticipate a bounce, correct? Similarly, again, mid caps also today had a good candle. uh, Quickly again, like I said, PSE, uh, again from the previous breakout zones. Auto is one of the strongest currently. You don't it wouldn't seem that there is a pressure in the market by looking at the auto index. So this is clearly very strong. Pharma and health, I really like them because they are forming big bases, and whenever these big base breakouts, we should be ready to at least catch a couple of them, right, from this space. And so I will constantly be on a lookout of this. Yeah, more energy again, like although right now it's slightly going past the zero line in the relative strength, but if this comes back and again breaks out of this base, that would again be a lucrative. So whenever you see what sectors are strong and not, always make sure to also see if the risk reward is at a good scenario or not, correct? So for example, what I'm saying by this is, when you saw metal index couple of days ago or so, although metal index was one of the strongest, but it was also at a space where the risk reward was not very favorable, because of the fact that it's already broken out and now was sort of extended, right? So this is what I mean by high relative strength, sorry, increasing relative strength versus highest relative strength. So there is a slight difference. Just because the relative strength is very high doesn't mean that it is suitable for an entry. Okay, always make sure what I mean, process what I mean by this, and slowly you'll also um, know exactly what I'm trying to say. And so that's why oil and gas still is lucrative for me, because this is again a big base shaping up to be like, so if you say this is one T, this is the second T going on, and when this breaks out, if this breaks out, this will definitely be lucrative, this one prospect. Okay. Now, again, you don't have to trade breakouts. You can also trade the pullback setups, pullback confirmations, when this guy is sort of reversing from this little pullback. So different kinds of entry techniques, right? So those were my thoughts on sectors and groups. Interesting charts. Okay, couple of interesting charts. We also discussed 2 weeks ago that Hong Seng was sort of about to break out or breaking out, and people who have large portfolios and would like to um, diversify could possibly look at Hong Seng, and it has done extremely well in the last two weeks or so. So we discussed at around here 26, 25, and it has really yeah, 9% on an index level is no joke. Similarly, gold and silver are doing really well, and I think I also shared this. So you always make sure that one way to gauge a good support level is to anchor an AV WAP from the breakout candle, right? So gold had a huge breakout, like this is mother of all breakouts. This and always remember this: the bigger the base, the bigger is the breakout, right? um, so so a VWAP anchored on that day was sort of acting as support, and again another VWAP anchored on the swing low um, did act as a clear support, and we have a bounce. Now again, doesn't mean that gold will now again do chuck another 5-6%. It might go undergo more T's here. This is a smaller base, and that base breakout again is would be uh, uh, another place to this one. So similarly to what silver. So silver broke that bounced from this area, and then it possibly will undergo some sort of contraction, base building, and then eventually breakouts. Right. So these are the two interesting charts. uh, other than what we generally discuss. All right, so let's now get into the meat of what I'm going to discuss today. um, Miscellaneous section. So what we are going to discuss, what I'm going to discuss today is about something called situational awareness. Okay, now situational awareness, what does it mean? This I heard for the first time from Pradeep Bonde from Stock B, and in the beginning, what I sort of did not know what was situational awareness, but in due course of time, the way I define situational awareness has come to be like this, right? So, situational awareness is basically uh, gauging the probability of your trades working with high probability or not, right? So, that is basically situational awareness. So, for example, if you had taken any trades in the last 1 week, like Monday to today, like in the last 5 days, if you had taken a breakout trade, the probability of those trade working would have been lower, right? So to know that that is going to happen, that the probability is lower in such and such environment of such and such kind of trade, is basically situational awareness, right? So so that is the way I define it. um, so today, what I'm going to discuss is discuss some actionable and practical ways to gauge the situational awareness, or gauge the probabilities of trades working. Okay, so before that, a couple of questions I would like to throw at you. I would like to throw at you, the question is, what is trend versus momentum? Is there a difference? And I will also tell you later that to make money in the market, more than trend, the momentum of that trend is more important. Okay, and all of this I'll show you in a very short time, right? So like, going back to the question of situational awareness, a quick exercise I want all of you to do. Like, you can either go and look at your trades from the journals or wherever you put it. So quickly calculate the number of trades that you took in the last 5 days, including today, and see how many of them worked, right, after May. And also quickly calculate the number of trades you took and that worked, during the previous rally. So the previous rally would be during this time, right? So anywhere from 22nd April to 30 or 2nd May, right? So you'll clearly see that this was the time when things were working. And as we had moved further away from the bounce, the most probably the trades would not have worked. So then you know that the currently, if a bounce comes in the form of like price moving again, bouncing from this zone, so during the first or second day of the bounce would be the highest probability of your trades working, be it your breakout trades or your PBC trades. PBC stands for pullback confirmation trades, right? And as we move up and up and up, though the probability now decreases and decreases. Okay, so that is true. And I want everyone to go back and see it for yourself. Now, for every, so whenever we are in this situation, when the trend is like, I mean, the shorter term trend is on the downside and the momentum is on the decline, it doesn't mean that everything will be declining, because only 70 to 80% of the stocks will follow the market. There will still be like the 20%, the likes of JWLs, which will make the move, or Ceylon. A couple of days ago, I caught a brilliant move in Ceylon, right? So on this day, but it was 7th May, the markets were still downtrend. So there will be the likes of Ceylon and JWL, but the probability will be less. For every Ceylon and JWL, there will be, or for every JWL and Hindustan Zinc, there will be 3 more MRPLs or Fredon Pharmas, right? So I just want everyone to be very cognizant of this fact, right? Uh, like, like, I mean, it's peak probability. Okay, now, and we all also have to be cognizant of the fact that the markets will not be ever trending and ever like how it has been for us in the last 1 year or so. It is not going to be the same, right, forever, right? And that's why, especially during times like this, when volatility is like playing with our stomachs, and like left, right, and center, timing the market becomes more important now than ever. Okay, and I believe uh, like making money in a trending market is very easy, but keeping that money during times like this is more important. And please don't be get swayed away by one JWL. Okay, this is the time where you have to have a system. This is the time where you cannot ignore that MRPL or the Fredun Pharma or what Ceylon did like last couple of days. Okay, and I cannot stress this enough, right? That's why you need to have a system where you have to bring in the situational awareness in place. And situational awareness then contains of two parts. One is, would be definitely technical, and another would be emotional. Now emotional, I am a very new trader. I still um, I believe that I am no one, I cannot lecture people on emotional situational awareness, because I myself am very new to this, right? So, and emotional awareness would basically, in short, talk to yourself, man. Journal, patience, and stuff like that. And this, all of these things, what Pradeep Bonde again calls self leadership. There is no one for you to come and do that part for yourself. But the technical one is something which I'm going to show you today. Um, right. How are we doing with time? 8:22. Okay. So the technical part I'm going to show you today. Now, okay, before that, yes, so let's pick up on the question which I posed to you guys. What is trend versus momentum? Okay, so simply put, trend basically gives you a direction. Okay, so trend basically gives you a direction, and momentum gives you the force of that direction. Okay, so last week I wrote an article where I quickly touched upon this subject, where I used an example of two friends, like me and my friend. We decided to go to Goa. uh, my friend took a flight or a car, let's say, but I have a bicycle, right? And after 2 days, he's already chilling in Goa, whereas I am like yet to reach Goa. We are both trending up, okay, because our direction is both going towards that. But the momentum, which is basically the rate of change, is my friend's rate of change is far superior to mine. Okay, so for again, to make money, not just trend is important, but how quickly that what is the rate of change is more important. Okay, and we'll go more into details, but this is basically it. So for example, another quick example I have it for you guys is like, for example, Hindustan Zinc here. Hindustan Zinc, we know it's a trending stock. Why? Because so all this list, about 400 or 500 names are trending names according to the Mark Minervini scanner. Okay, so I have a Mark Minervini scanner, which is the Minervini trend template, and Minervini, according to him, a trending stock is basically anything which is above 50 DMA, 150 to 200, and the 50 is trending above the 150. 150 is trending above 200. 200 is trending above its 30-day ago 200. Okay, and a couple of things. So basically, moving averages gives you a trend, so it will give you directionality, right? So for example, Vijaya Diagnostic and Hindustan Zinc both are trending stocks. But what is momentum? Momentum is like the slope of the trend, right? So Vijaya Diagnostic clearly has a slope which is lesser than that of Hindustan Zinc, right? So that means Hindustan Zinc is climbing faster. You see the slope, the slope is like steeper. So clearly the momentum is basically the slope of the trend, okay, which is the rate of change. Okay, again, this is technical, a little technical, but I'm trying to give you an idea of what is the differentiation between trend and this one, right? So similarly, if you now get this distinction, when we now go and look at the actionable and practical situation awareness tools, which I'm going to tell you, which is basically the momentum score, the oscillator momentum score. I also want to bring in to your notice that there are many other technical tools, and similarly, how momentum is a gauge of the force. There are some technical tools which will give you the directionality, and there are some which will give you the force, right? So for example, someone in the group today was very much assertive on the fact that the advanced decline lines are a very good indicator of whatever that indicates, right? But advanced decline lines are a directionality wala tool. It will not give you the force. Okay, so for example, if 80, so let's say out of 100 stocks, 80 stocks are up and 20 stocks are down, so that is 80 advance and 20 decline, but it nowhere close enough will give you that with what force those 80 stocks are up, right? And with what force the 20 stocks are down. It could be that the 20 stocks are down 10% on a given day and the 80 stocks which are up are just up by 0.1%. Technically true, हो सकता है, right? But your advanced decline line will still show 80 is to 20, but that will not tell you the clear exact picture of the market, right? So uh, these are not rocket science things. Okay, many people might find this over analysis, and I can't do much for people who find it over analysis. But if one tries a little bit to get a good understanding of these things and use it in their trading, it is very much possible, right? So with that, let me now go into a little deeper on what the momentum score is. So this is the momentum score dashboard. It is open and it's also inside the Google Sheet now. This was always there, but in between, when I had a couple of feedback from people, I came to know that there is a lot of things in HPA, so that is very confusing. So I had taken it out, and it was not, but I have put it back now. Okay, so here what I will show you, you can completely ignore the long term one, because we are, I'm pretty sure, like yeah, this is not going to be much of use to you guys. But we will now just focus on the short term trend, short term momentum, medium term trend, medium term momentum. Okay, and below this, and this is this and this is the ADX momentum score. Okay, so I'm going back to the presentation. I in the last slide I said that the momentum score, or gauging the momentum कि कितना ज़्यादा momentum है, that can be done in two ways. One is directly by calculating the momentum, which is price, rate of change dala, rate of change, percentage change in price in X time frame. So let's say in 10-day time frame, what is the price change in all the stocks of the market, divided by 10. So this will give you the rate of change of price in 10-day time frame, right? So that's momentum, right? So you can also do this for a 50-day time frame. So that's your momentum of 50-day time frame, right? And the other one is ADX based. Now both will give you similar values, okay, and both can be used interchangeably, right? Now before again going there, I would like to quickly show first कि भाई ये देख के आप you can really go and gauge the market changing its direction. Okay, so quickly again, this is not an exhaustive thingy, but let's first discuss the ADX based momentum, this one. So for this, what I have two things. One is available as a scanner, where so that scanner is here, right? So here what I have plotted is I have plotted so this is the basic thing. So ADX, the ADX indicator is an excellent trend and momentum indicator. Okay, so if you just plot all the stocks whose daily ADX positive is greater than 25, it means that it's a stock which is higher momentum. Okay, and not just that, we just don't need higher momentum, we also need momentum stocks whose momentum is increasing, right? Remember, highest relative strength versus increasing relative strength, it is basically the same, but in case of momentum. So the second thing which I've plotted is that the ADXDI today versus 5 days ago or 10 days ago should be higher, right? So that means that whatever ADX is today is happening is higher than my 5 days ago ADX, and it's also higher than 25, which means that strong and getting stronger stocks, right? So if you plot this, you will get a histogram like this, right? So if you now see, whenever it basically goes to a overbought territory and overbought territory are, again, you can gauge it in two ways. One is like, of course, like 700, 800 looks overbought here, but overbought is also um, uh, it's it's also in comparative, right? So for example, here the overboughtness was similar to 8 April, okay. And this is also a bearish divergence. Anyways, that's a different thing. So you see that whenever the stocks, the momentum sort of goes below 100 level and then starts to climb up. So for example, that happened on March 18th, and it sort of climbed up, and by March 22 it was above 100. So if you go back and look at the Nifty 500 charts, March 18 around and March 2021, what it was doing was, it was basically now coming back to trend. So this was March 18, and then by March 21 we again sort of climbed back. Now around this period, what happened is, around 12th April, if you go back and see the same chart which I showed you, by 12th April we were already third day down from the top. Means like momentum is like slight decreasing now, right? So okay, April now you still are not sure. April 10 you are sure that like momentum abhi ghata hai. April 12 you are very sure, and you see what CNX 500 at that time did. By April 12th it was sort of topping, right? And this was very clear that, I mean, this was also a Friday, and this was also anticipated in HPA that like it's probably going to do something like that. And the similar case again happens when on these 2 days, 22 April and 23rd April, if you again go back and see that that was the time when this again sort of moved up, and then same story you will find. And then whenever the momentum is again uptrending, and remember, uptrending momentum is the time when situationally aware हम लोग ये है कि like that is the time when we can push the pedal, right? So when that happens, this will tell, the data will tell you, right? Now this I am showing you for a sort of a swing, sort of very smaller time frame swings, right? Now for people who are positional, you don't have to look at this chart. What you can do is, instead of plotting the daily ADX, you can plot a weekly ADX, correct? So again, you will have a weekly ADX, and similarly you will also now get a zoom. It's cyclical. Everything is cyclical in markets, right? So now what you see is, this week we had a lower one, which sort of, probably there is a slight probability that we might again have it going down, right? So what I've done is, I have been studying past data, like past 10-15 years data of this. And so this was again, before I show you the past data, this is in scanner form. The other one which I showed you in the momentum dashboard, this is the same thing, okay, but it is in a dashboard form. And I like this better because now I have, instead of actual numbers, I have the x-axis is now from 0 to 100%, right? So in here I can get a better view, and I have also put a moving average there, 5-day moving average, okay? So in here what I have plotted is all the stocks whose ADX positive is above 25, and I have then put a 5-day moving average. So what you can see is it's even better. So here how you read the data is, the moment the ADX curve crosses up or crosses down the 5-day moving average, that's a clean technical signal that, hey, the this is the reversal point, right? So for example, in again the same data which I've showed you, the reversal, the cross back happened on March 21, right? So what happened on March 21? March 21 we sort of reversed from that day, okay? Now if you see then the topping periods, um, if you see the topping periods, when did we cross the ADX, the momentum cross back? That happened on 10th April, right? Let's see what happens on 10th April. 10th April we topped. The same day momentum crossed back, right? Now again, the question now is, hey, Prakash, you probably might be cherry picking just this area to show that how effective this is. Hold on a second. So um, because I strictly speak with data, and because I don't have like 15, 20 years of experience, and my eyes are not, I cannot just look at chart and do all those magic analysis. I actually have gone on and looked at huge data. So for example, this is daily. So what I've done is I have basically downloaded, I have downloaded this for last, let's say, 2014 wala data to last 10 years or so, and then I have actually mapped the turning periods exactly on the chart. Okay, and I have done that for daily period as well as the weekly period. So this is daily one, and you can actually see that whenever it goes to below 100 and comes up, that is the time also in the charts we actually have a reversal. Okay. Similarly, on a weekly period also the same holds true. Whenever we've sort of like gone below 100 and again sort of come up, that is the time we also have so I've mapped this, like all of this jhuria lines, this are exactly mapped by the data manually, um, using the historical chart. So almost with 99% probability, the system sort of works, and it will provide with you with excellent areas of transitioning from bullish to bearish and bearish to bullish. Okay, now the more important thing which I want to show you today right now is when the market sort of tops in the longer term. I haven't seen how it bottoms, but in the longer term when it tops, then there is something called a bearish divergence. So now very quickly, for people who don't know bearish divergence, and again just give me 2 minutes, give me your attention, and this will not look like over analysis, I promise you, right? So what's a bearish divergence? Okay, so uh, you know that things move in uptrend and downtrend, and so if price is continuously making higher highs, then one generally expects that the underlying breadth data should also make higher highs, correct? In that case there is no divergence, right? Whenever whenever the And the same thing also holds for the bottoms. So if the bottom is making higher lows, the whatever breadth data ka bottom should also make higher lows, right? So then in that case there is no divergence. But divergence, when divergence happens, is that whenever these directions in price and the whatever it is, you can MACD, RSI, blah blah blah, it's not the same, right? Which means that, let's say, if the price is making higher high and the indicator is making lower high, in that case this is called a bearish divergence. Okay, now in a higher time frame, if a bearish divergence occurs, that is a possible sign that the markets might be topping. Okay, now one example I'll give you is this. So if you see here, this is a weekly data of momentum, and you will see this diverges in other places as well, because at the end of the day everything is derived from price. So what happens here is 2020 24th, this is August, there is a top. 2021 January there is another top, and July 2021 there is another top, and these are not diverged, okay, because the momentum is like making higher highs, and you will see that the price is also making higher highs. So let me quickly go in a weekly time frame and show that period. Okay, so this is what exactly I'm talking about. I think this is the top. Wait, hold on, quickly, हाँ, तो इसको निकाल देते हैं. So okay, what I'm saying is 8 2020, 121, 621. Okay, so 8 2020. So this is the top, one top. Again, because the tops are very, because it was such a huge bullish time, the tops are not like toppy, they just look like अरे ये तो basing है obviously. This is another top at around January February, and the third top which I just showed you would be this, or this, yes, this June. Okay, now you see, then there is another top here. Okay, so higher highs, higher highs, then the price is still making a very prominent higher high. Okay, बहुत ही ज़्यादा prominent, like very prominent, which is almost like 16% up move. Now you see what the momentum data did. What is the top here made on 18th October 2021? What did the momentum data did? 18th October 2021, the momentum is almost half, 432, whereas this top had 912. This is huge bearish, hugely bearish divergence. All right. And then subsequently, then we also had a phase where the markets went sideways, or you can say a downtrend or whatever. Okay. Now, compare and contrast the same phenomena which is happening currently. Okay. We had a top here, 4th September. We had another top at 8 January. 4th September or 4th September, yeah, somewhere here. September, January. Okay, January somewhere here. And then we are still trending up from the January top to 29th April top. But what happened to momentum data during that period? 976, 446. Okay, now I'm not saying that this will repeat. All I'm saying is that there is data to be cautious about the market topping or going sideways, right? I'm not, this is not fear mongering, mind you. I'm not saying that close everything and run away. All I'm saying is that this is one way to use situational awareness in our trading. Now, for me, I have stopped positional trading for now. I'm a swing trader, so this would still, by the time this plays out and things are gone, I will be long gone from the markets. But I just want everyone to be, be cautious and be very cognizant of the fact that the markets will not be like how it was last 1 year forever. Okay, mark my words. And yeah, so be, be open to the fact that um, at some point of time we will top. Okay, and have a sell rule. I'm not sure. Yeah, have a sell rule is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, so that was the presentation, or that is what I had to say today. I will take questions now. Okay, quickly. So that was one was the ADX base and the other is the price base, right? So I've completely forgot to show you the price base. So this is the price based indicator, momentum indicator. And like I said, you can, the medium term would be the 50-day one, and the short term, I basically look at 10 and 20. And the way to read this would be basically very simple. If momentum is below 0, it basically means that momentum is negative. माने कि last, let's say this is 10-day momentum. 10-day momentum has now slipped below 0, which means that in the last 10 days, if you had put your money is like in the negative, by and large, according to, like, this is because market data, right? By and large, the probability of you losing money if you had put money in the last 10 days is very high, and because the momentum is negative. Now whenever the momentum now shifts to positive, what will happen is that you will have a, similarly जैसे यहाँ पे the 5-day SMA crossed, similarly here also the same, again the crossback, when did it happen? March 21 the crossback happened. And again I will show you the data. that is the time again market started to trend back up, right? March 2021. So both the momentum, they are calculated differently, but they will give you exactly the same kind of signals, right? And when it was like topping also, the April 9th it crossed back. April 9th also we started to top, and in here this was the bearish divergence which I was talking about last week, and I think, yeah, last week. So we have the prices were making a higher high, right? So this is a higher high. CNX 500 made a higher high, but the momentum did make a lower high. The 10-day momentum made a lower high, and that was a huge sign of the impending a down move coming. So this is the way you can use like this is actionable situational awareness. Now the next step, like I said, of this part is basically emotional, which means that when the market is not telling you to not take trades, you basically not take trades. And again, in that, like your fear, greed, and everything, which I'm also, fear and greed every day, trying to tackle it in various ways, and I am sort of giving myself 3 to 5 years time, before I become very hard on myself, because these are things which have been ingrained in us as humans. We are emotional, and this will never go away. But um, because these are also like so ingrained, it is also very difficult to get rid of them like in a day, or even in one bull market, right? So I will be patient with myself, and hopefully in a couple of years, I will be following this to the T. I'm done. Questions?
Hey, hi Prakash.
Hi, Kalyan.
Hi. So the momentum graph, whatever you're showing, right? So how does it behave on a PBC setup, like pullback setup? So I understand if there is a basing, I think the curve will rise. But what will be the behavior in a PBC? If you can take an example.
So this
Probably.
is market level data, right? This is not a single setup. I'm
Hmm.
unable to get your question exactly. So
So I was
let
thinking,
me
so you have taken Hindustan Zinc as an example, right? So where you are talking about the slope,
yeah.
I get the slope point, but in pullbacks, I think the momentum curve should come back, right? Because
Hold on. Hold on. So yes, yeah, let's say if there are, for simplicity's sake, let's say there are 100 stocks, okay, and all 100 of them are now pulling back, okay. Okay, so then this momentum curve will also pull back. Now, what you are trying to ask me is an example of just one single stock. But this momentum data is a market-wide data. It's a breadth data. So if you
yes,
see
yes.
here, this is group average. These are all group average of stocks. This is not single stock. So this will show you what the the market as a whole in general is doing. Okay.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah. This I understand. The two examples from your watch list, right? So one was the Hindustan Zinc and the Vijaya Diagnostics.
right,
So there is a change in the slope, right,
right,
with respect to the second one.
right,
Uh, has a lesser angle, right?
right.
So Hindustan Zinc on the pullback. So uh, uh, on the after the first leg on the
This
pullback,
one, this one.
yeah, 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 yeah. So there, I think any
It will, yeah,
observations that.
it'll go like sideways. It'll still be above zero. It'll go sideways.
I mean, like for example,
Can I
if I
show you?
have,
Can I show you?
yeah,
Okay. So if you do this for individual stocks, it will look like this. Okay. So for example, here. So okay, let me get something better. Um, okay. No, this is just Okay, so something like this. Do you see this one?
Mm.
Yeah, this is again. Okay, let's do this. So imagine this is some form of momentum only. Okay.
Mm.
Now when that guy is pulling back, then what it will do is it will also sort of go sideways. Like
Hey, Prakash,
like a
why don't you add
sideways.
ADX to the trading view itself for Hindustan Zinc?
Um, Prashant, come again, please.
Yeah, what I was saying is you can add ADX to here itself, right, in trading view
Right.
to answer
So,
Prakash question.
yes, so, oh shit, yeah, I didn't think of that. So, you see, here, it'll basically go sideways. Okay?
So, yeah, so like, what would be the strategy here? Like,
Okay.
should we wait for any MA?
See, couple of things here. Okay. Now, if you want to, okay, I will just look at you guys. So, I can have a separate like session on how to use ADX, and I actually use ADX like in and out. The thing is, it behaves very similarly to our Mars indicator. Okay,
Mm.
very similar. Now there is an entire huge ass book written by some guy. I'll send you the book and the this one. He has like so many different setups related to Mars. Okay, but in a very short time, basically the primary signal definitely has to be price. Okay, so for example, in this case, let's say the breakout of this big bar, just say जिसके अंदर we had 2 or 3 inside bars, when the breakout of that is a signal, the breakout of this bar is a signal. At that time, how Mars how ADX behaves is basically, if ADX is above 25, so right now
Mm.
my midline is 20.
Mm.
Yes, I think 20. So if it is above 25, it means like hugely trending high momentum stock. Okay. So now you
Mm.
see in the period where the Hindustan Zinc was going sideways or pulling back, the ADX plus DI also pulled back. Okay. But
Mm.
the pullback is still okay. I mean, the strength of the stock is still huge because it has not come and breached the 25-20 line, right?
Mm.
So whenever the breach is more than like for example Salzer, Salzer sort of was sideways and it breached. Let me see how it looks like. Now you see, ये Salzer starting में यहाँ पे ना, I'm not even showing you the chart, but you see the breach happened here.
Mm.
20 के नीचे चला गया, right? So the
Yeah.
moment sort of 25 20 ADX breaches below that means that the stock is now no longer high momentum, and you will see that in price as well. What happened here? You see,
Mm.
it breached, right? So as long as the pullback is the still like above the 20-25 level in ADX, it is still okay, right?
Okay, so just to summarize, like in the pullback, probably look for MAs because anyhow these are flag candles, right? So
Yeah.
so look for MA breaches and then based on that decide on to
Yeah,
add or to
yeah,
book.
yeah. So my advice would be just don't add on like before the confirmation that after the pullback the bounce is there. Like for example here Soldier, right? So these 2 days, this because there is a triple B. So whenever triple B comes, there is a high chance that we have a bounce. Again, this also situational awareness also comes into play where we are in the cycle. And then the next one was this. So in this case, there was a clean the 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 Mars also sort of crossed back the 9 MA and 21 MA, as well as in the ADX also it sort of bounced from the 20-25ish level, right? So so yeah, so first primary source is the price, and then these are like confirmatory signals is what I'd like to call them.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah.
but generally don't try to anticipate, at least when we are on a downswing, you know.
Mm.
Wait for the market to tell you that brother, things are all right, we have started to, you know, cross back up. And the only problem right now in my life is the lack of the lack of, not, I wouldn't say lack, but the lack of discipline in following the system. The system is solid, in my opinion.
Okay. Thanks, Prakash.
Cheers, man. Someone please remind me to send the book on ADX, if any of you. Yes, Prashant. AD Excellence by Charles Schnapp. And the man innocently asking has read it. Oh, okay, right. I see. All right, guys. If there are any other questions, then let's hear it. All right, folks. Looks like there is no more questions. And final parting thoughts to summarize. To summarize. To summarize. To summarize. Let's summarize the momentum. See, like breath is okay. Breath actually, breath just gives you the direction, right? So what we are looking for is momentum, and the momentum will be back when it is coming back, right? And there are a lot of different ways to look at momentum. I've shown you two ways. One direct way, by calculating the rate of change, which is basically the momentum, and the other way is to also ADX is one of the best one, but every other else, RSI is also sort of a momentum indicator, correct? um, MACD is also a momentum indicator, right? So there are different ways to do that. I personally like ADX, and yeah, whenever the momentum is gonna come back, that is the time we are also going to have some decent possibility of making money. And in general, these are the ways to read the charts. If anything below the 50 level trend wise is not so great, so on medium term also we wait for it to sort of go back up, this guy to at least cross the MA. So this is the black one, is the 5-day MA, and we are below MA. Short term momentum below MA. आप 20 दिन वाला भी देख लो, 20 दिन वाला also below MA. The 4% up down ratio also sort of hovering around the lows. So if you see, these are 10 like these are the up down ratio is also hovering around low. So yeah, so sometimes what happens is that the hardest part is like to contain the FOMO, right? Bhai, if I cannot time the market on the day when it bounced, what is the worst that can happen? I'm going to miss one day move. That too, the stock I pick might not move that day. So that's the self talk I was trying to talk about in here. So yeah, that's the only upay right now I have, talking to myself every day, reminding with the notes, and that don't do this is your fear, this is your FOMO, don't do this, don't self sabotage. Yeah, identifying all those qualities in yourself, which is pulling you back, pulling me back in this case. Every day writing about it, making myself more cognizant, because at some point of time, technicals, not knowing technicals is not the bottleneck for you to make money. Yeah, I can teach anyone technicals in 3 months, 3 weeks, in fact, but the more the harder thing is to the self-talk, discipline, all of that. And every opportunity of tough market, every opportunity of the time where the 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 account is going 2 step forward, 2 step back, is an opportunity to make yourself better. I honestly truly believe that, right? Yeah, that's it. And I'll stop here, and whenever momentum is back, I will let you guys know in the group. And have a good weekend. Bye bye.